Are you tired of feeling guilty for wanting wealth? For wanting more? There is a conflict that lives inside so many spiritually aware people. A quiet war fought between the desire for a life of freedom and the fear of becoming materialistic. You practice affirmations. You visualize. You try to think positively. And yet, that old heavy feeling remains. That sense of unworthiness. That subtle clenching in your stomach when you think about large sums of money. What if I told you that this heaviness, this inner lead, is not something to be destroyed? What if it's the most valuable resource you have? The raw material for an extraordinary transformation. Welcome to the Abundance Alchemist. I am Elias Vance, and over the next 2 hours, we will embark upon a journey together. Not a journey of tips and tricks, but one of profound inner alchemy. This is the sacred work of turning the lead of your limiting money beliefs into the pure, radiant gold of your inherent abundance. We will not just talk about changing your mindset. We will give you the tools to transmute the very energy of your beliefs at a subconscious level. We will move through 9 distinct alchemical transmutations, each designed to dissolve a layer of resistance and realign you with your natural state of prosperity. You are here because a part of you knows that wealth is not a sin. It is a tool, it is energy, and it is your birthright to wield it with purpose and integrity. So take a deep breath, settle into your space, and let us begin the great work. Chapter 1. Uncovering the inner lead, the roots of spiritual money guilt. So, where does it begin? This feeling, this inner lead, for most of us it's a quiet inheritance. A story whispered down through generations, absorbed from society, or baked into our spiritual upbringing. The belief that piety and poverty are somehow intertwined. That to be good you must be without. It's a subtle poison. It makes you hesitate before sending an invoice for your true worth. It makes you feel a pang of guilt when you desire something luxurious, something beautiful just for the joy of it. This isn't just a thought. It's a deep energetic pattern, a resonance of lack that hums just beneath the surface of your consciousness. I remember a client I worked with, a wonderfully talented artist named Clara. She created breathtaking work, but she could barely afford her studio rent. On paper, she did everything right. She marketed her work, she went to galleries, but her prices were always far too low. When we dug deeper, we found the root, a phrase her grandmother, a devoutly religious woman, would say constantly, "It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God." For Clara, this wasn't just a proverb. It was a subconscious command. To be spiritually worthy, you must reject wealth. Her poverty was, in her mind's deep logic, a sign of her goodness. And you can't out-affirm a belief that you feel is keeping you safe and spiritually pure. You see the conflict? It's a brutal one. Your first task as an alchemist is not to fight this lead. It is to find it. To truly understand its weight, its texture, its origin. This requires a different kind of courage. Not the courage to hustle harder, but the courage to be still, to be honest. So let's perform our first act of alchemy right now. It's an act of observation. Find a quiet moment. Ask yourself this question, and allow the first answer that surfaces to be heard, without judgment. What am I afraid would happen if I became truly, undeniably wealthy? Don't search for the right answer. Listen for the raw one. I'm afraid I would become greedy. I'm afraid my family would treat me differently. I'm afraid I would lose my connection to God. I'm afraid I wouldn't know how to handle it, and I'd lose it all, there, right there. That is your lead. That is the raw material. Don't push it away. Don't coat it with a shiny affirmation just yet. For now, simply hold it. Acknowledge its presence. Look at it with the compassionate, curious eyes of an alchemist. Because only by truly knowing the nature of this lead can we begin the sacred process of its transmutation. This honest seeing, this radical acceptance, this is the first and perhaps most crucial step on the path to becoming gold. Chapter 2. The energetic blueprint of belief. A belief is not just an idea you hold in your mind. It's an energetic frequency you broadcast to the universe. Think of it like a tuning fork. If you hold a belief that says, "I am not worthy of wealth," you are vibrating at the frequency of unworthiness. The law of attraction, or what I prefer to call the law of resonance, is not a cosmic vending machine that responds to your wishes. It is a universal mirror that reflects your being. It responds to the vibration of that tuning fork, and it can only bring you experiences, circumstances, and people that match the frequency you are emitting. This is why positive thinking alone so often fails. It's like trying to paint a beautiful mural on a crumbling wall. You're working on the surface, while the foundational structure is weak. Chanting "I am wealthy" while your entire energetic system is vibrating with the frequency of "I am not enough" creates a state of deep inner conflict. It's an energetic tug-of-war, and it's exhausting. I had a friend once, a brilliant engineer, who was obsessed with manifestation techniques. He had vision boards, he wrote affirmations, he scripted his perfect day, but his life was stuck. Total stagnation. One day over coffee, he was complaining about it, and I just watched him. I watched how he spoke about his landlord, how he tensed up when the bill came, how he muttered about the price of everything. His words said abundance, but his energy screamed scarcity. His tuning fork was set to lack. He was trying to shout a new reality into existence, but the universe was listening to his whisper, the whisper of his true subconscious belief. So how do we change the vibration of the tuning fork itself? We must understand that beliefs are stored in the body. They are somatic. That feeling of guilt, it has a location. Maybe it's a tightness in your chest, that feeling of unworthiness. Perhaps it's a hollowness in your solar plexus. This is not poetry. This is energetic reality. The lead is not just a concept. It is physically encoded within your energetic field. Chapter 3. The Alchemist's Stillness. Preparing the vessel of your being, we've identified the raw lead, the deep-seated beliefs and fears around money, often inherited or culturally ingrained. We've begun to understand how these beliefs act as an energetic blueprint, broadcasting a frequency that the universe mirrors back to us. Now, before we can even think about transmuting this lead into gold, we must undertake the crucial alchemical step of preparing the vessel. And in this context, the vessel is you, your entire being, your mind, your body, your spirit. Think about it. You wouldn't try to purify precious metals in a dirty, cracked crucible, would you? The impurities of the container would inevitably taint the very substance you're trying to refine. Similarly, if our inner world is filled with turmoil, judgment, or resistance, we cannot effectively transmute our money blocks. We need to create a state of inner stillness, a receptive and purified inner landscape. This is where the concept of presence becomes paramount. In our hyper-connected, always-on world, stillness is a radical act. It's a defiant stand against the constant barrage of external stimuli, against the relentless internal chatter. It's the quiet space where true insight can emerge. It's the foundation upon which all-powerful transformation is built. Many people, when they hear "prepare your vessel," immediately think of grand gestures, of intense spiritual disciplines or complicated rituals. But the most potent alchemy often begins with the simplest of practices. It begins with the intention to be present, to be here now, fully inhabiting your own being. Let's consider an example. Imagine two people who want to heal their financial anxiety. Person A spends an hour each morning furiously journaling about all their fears, trying to force the anxiety away. They end up feeling more agitated, their mind racing. Person B, on the other hand, sits quietly for 5 minutes. They simply notice their breath. They feel their feet on the ground. They observe the anxious thoughts as they arise without engaging or judging them. They're not trying to get rid of the anxiety. They are simply creating space for it to be. Which of these two individuals do you think is better preparing their vessel for true transmutation? It's person B, isn't it? Because person B is creating a state of receptivity. They are developing the capacity to hold their experience without being consumed by it. This is the essence of alchemical stillness. This practice isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about disengaging from the automatic, reactive patterns that keep you trapped. It's about creating a conscious space between stimulus and response. This space, this gap, is where your power lies. It's where you can choose your reaction rather than being dictated by old programming. I remember a client who struggled immensely with overspending. She felt a constant urge to buy things she didn't need, and then felt immense guilt. We worked on presence. She started by simply noticing the impulse to buy. Instead of immediately acting on it, she would pause. She would take 3 conscious breaths. She would feel the urge in her body, acknowledge it without judgment, and then ask herself, what is this really about? Is this about a lack of something? Is this about seeking comfort? Often just this simple pause, this moment of conscious presence, diffused the urgency. The desire would soften, and she would no longer feel compelled to act from that place of unconscious lack. She wasn't fighting the desire. She was simply creating a pause, a sacred space where a different choice could emerge. This preparation of the vessel involves cultivating a state of mindful awareness. It's about noticing the subtle sensations in your body, the ebb and flow of your emotions, the patterns of your thoughts, without getting swept away by them. It's about developing an inner calm that can act as the serene, stable crucible for your own energetic transformation. How do you begin to cultivate this stillness? It can be as simple as mindful breathing. Take a few minutes each day to simply focus on the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. Don't try to change it, just observe it. Body scan meditation. Gently bring your awareness to different parts of your body, noticing any sensations without judgment. This helps you reconnect with your physical self and become aware of where you hold tension or emotion. Mindful observation. When you're doing everyday activities, like washing dishes, walking or drinking tea, bring your full attention to the sensory experience. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, feel? The pause. Intentionally create pauses throughout your day. Before reacting to an email, before making a purchase, before speaking. Just pause, breathe, and be present. These are not chores. They are sacred acts of self-care. They are the alchemist's ritual for purifying the crucible. They build your capacity to hold difficult emotions and limiting beliefs without being overwhelmed, allowing you to approach them with clarity and compassion. This stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is the fertile ground where true alchemical transformation takes root. Chapter 4. The Alchemical Fire. Rewiring your subconscious for prosperity. We have uncovered the lead, and we have prepared our inner vessel, creating a state of stillness and receptivity. Now it's time to introduce the alchemical fire. This fire is not destructive. It is transformative. It is the energy of conscious intention, of focused energetic rewiring that allows us to dissolve old patterns and forge new ones. This is where we begin to truly transmute those deeply embedded subconscious money blocks. Your subconscious mind is a powerful engine running on the programs and beliefs it has absorbed throughout your life. If those programs are centered around scarcity, unworthiness, or fear, they will continuously steer your life in that direction, regardless of your conscious desires. The alchemical fire works by directly addressing and reprogramming these subconscious patterns. Think of a deeply ingrained habit, like biting your nails. You might consciously decide to stop, but the urge, the ingrained neural pathway is still there. To truly change it, you need to do more than just say, "Don't bite." You need to interrupt the pattern. Create a new association, perhaps by consciously engaging your hands in another activity, or by understanding the underlying emotional trigger. Subconscious reprogramming works on a similar principle, but on an energetic level. One of the most potent techniques for this is through energetic transmutation, which essentially means consciously shifting the energetic frequency of a belief or emotion. It's about acknowledging the old energy allowing it to be present, and then intentionally infusing it with a new, desired energy. This isn't about denial. It's about transformation. Let's say you carry a deep subconscious belief that money is dangerous. The alchemical fire works by acknowledging that fear, perhaps even feeling its physical manifestation in your body, that clench in your chest, that tightness in your shoulders. Instead of pushing it away, you consciously choose to infuse that sensation, that belief, with a new energy. The energy of safety, of security, of abundance. You might visualize that tightness softening, being replaced by a warm golden light that signifies safety and flow. Another powerful method involves guided visualization and somatic release. During these practices, you consciously direct your inner focus, using your imagination to create scenarios that reinforce your desired financial state, while simultaneously releasing the old energetic imprints stored in your body. You might imagine yourself confidently managing large sums of money, feeling secure and at ease, and as you do, you actively release any tension or fear associated with your current beliefs. I remember working with a client who had an almost phobic reaction to receiving large sums of money. He'd get dizzy, his heart would race, and he'd make excuses to avoid it. When we explored the origin, we found a childhood memory where his father had received a significant inheritance and, in the ensuing family chaos and greed, had lost it all, leading to immense family trauma. For him, wealth was intrinsically linked to chaos and loss. The fire we used was to consciously decouple those associations. We used guided visualization to immerse him in the feeling of calm, responsible stewardship of abundant resources. We then used somatic release techniques to help his body let go of the residual fear and trauma associated with financial gain. It wasn't about pretending the past didn't happen. It was about energetically rewriting the future by transforming the meaning and feeling attached to wealth. Crucially, this alchemical fire is fueled by consistent, intentional practice. It's not a one-time event. It's about regularly engaging in techniques that consciously reprogram your subconscious. This could include affirmations, but with energetic infusion, not just repeating words, but infusing them with the feeling of the desired reality. For example, instead of just saying, "I am wealthy," feel the abundance, the security, the freedom that wealth would bring as you say it. Guided meditations for reprogramming. Many audio resources exist that guide you through specific subconscious rewiring processes, energetic release techniques, practices like emotional freedom techniques, EFT, or specific breathwork can help release trapped emotional energy that holds limiting beliefs. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. Techniques. Certain NLP patterns can be incredibly effective at reframing limiting beliefs and installing empowering ones. The key is to actively engage your imagination and your body in the process. The subconscious mind is highly suggestible, especially when presented with consistent, emotionally resonant experiences. By consciously choosing the energetic frequency you wish to embody, you begin to rewrite your internal operating system. You start to broadcast a new signal to the universe, a signal of prosperity, of worthiness, of abundance. This is the power of the alchemical fire. It burns away the old, making way for the new radiant gold. Chapter 5. The Sacred Waters of Forgiveness, Releasing the Weight of Money. Shame, we've ignited the alchemical fire, beginning the process of rewiring our subconscious. Now, we turn to the element of water, the sacred waters of forgiveness. If the fire transforms by burning, the water purifies by dissolving and cleansing. And in the realm of financial alchemy, the most potent form of purification comes through releasing the heavy weight of money shame and spiritual guilt. Shame is a particularly insidious emotion. It tells us we are fundamentally flawed, unworthy, and broken. When it attaches itself to money, which it so often does, it creates a powerful energetic blockage. It makes us want to hide our financial struggles, our desires, and even our successes. It whispers that we are somehow inherently less than because of our financial situation, or because we dare to desire more. And spiritual guilt? This is the insidious cousin of shame. It tells us that wanting wealth, or having wealth, somehow contradicts our spiritual values. It pits our desire for a fulfilling, abundant life against our commitment to higher principles. This conflict is a deeply painful and energetically draining place to be. It's the spiritual person who feels a knot in their stomach for enjoying a nice meal, or for investing in something that brings them comfort. These energies of shame and guilt create a dense energetic residue. They cling to us, weighing us down, and they absolutely prevent the free flow of abundance. Think of a river clogged with debris. The water can't flow freely. It stagnates and it becomes murky. Forgiveness, in this context, is the act of clearing that debris. It's the powerful, liberating act of washing away the energetic residue of past mistakes, perceived failings, and conflicting beliefs. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning past actions, or pretending that certain financial mistakes didn't happen, or that certain guilt-inducing beliefs weren't deeply felt. It is not about excusing behavior. It is about releasing the energetic charge that those experiences hold over you. It is about recognizing that holding on to shame and guilt is like carrying heavy stones in your pockets. They serve no purpose other than to weigh you down. Releasing them liberates your energy, frees up your capacity for joy, and allows abundance to flow. One of the most powerful practices for cultivating this energetic release is what I call the forgiveness ledger. It's a simple yet profound ritual. You take a beautiful journal, something that feels significant and sacred to you. On one side of a page, you write down the specific instances or beliefs that have caused you financial shame or spiritual guilt. Be specific. For example, I feel immense guilt for overspending on luxury items when I know others are struggling. I carry shame about not being able to provide financially for my family in the way I believe I should. I feel spiritually compromised because I desire wealth, and I believe it makes me materialistic. I am ashamed of past financial decisions that led to debt. Write these down honestly, without judgment. Acknowledge the pain, the regret, the shame. Then, on the opposite side of the page, you perform the act of forgiveness. This is where you consciously choose to release the energetic hold of these items. You can do this through affirmations, through intention, or through a guided process. You might write, I forgive myself for the pattern of overspending. I now choose to release the guilt and embrace mindful abundance. I forgive myself for the perceived failures in providing. I trust in my ability to create prosperity in alignment with my values. I forgive myself for believing that desiring wealth makes me unspiritual. I now embrace wealth as a tool for service and growth. I forgive myself for past financial decisions. I release the shame and step into the wisdom of my present moment, creating a new financial future. As you write, feel the intention behind your words. Imagine the heavy energy lifting, dissolving, being washed away. You can even visualize yourself dipping your pen into a stream of pure, cleansing water as you write the forgiveness side. This ritual is not just an intellectual exercise. It's an energetic act of liberation. I remember a client who was deeply shamed by her father for wanting to pursue a career in the arts instead of a more stable and profitable path. This created a deep-seated belief that her desires were inherently wrong and would lead to financial ruin. She carried this shame for decades, sabotaging her own artistic success. When she finally sat down with her forgiveness ledger, she wrote down the specific criticisms and the crushing feeling of disappointing her father. Then, with tears in her eyes, she wrote her forgiveness. She forgave her father for his limited perspective, and more importantly, she forgave herself for internalizing that shame. The release was palpable. Within weeks, she started receiving opportunities she'd only dreamed of, and her art began to flow with newfound freedom and confidence. This act of forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to your strength and your commitment to your own well-being. It is the water that purifies the crucible, washing away the muck and mire of shame and guilt, making space for the clear, radiant gold of your inherent worth to shine through. And as you perform this act of forgiveness, as you release the energetic charge from these old wounds, you create space for a new reality to enter. This is such a critical point in the alchemical journey. And if this particular idea of the forgiveness ledger resonates with you, if it feels like a key you've been searching for, consider sharing this audiobook with someone else who might be on a similar path. A single insight shared at the right moment can change a life. Now let's turn to the next step in this process. And as you perform this act of forgiveness, as you release the energetic charge from these old wounds, you create space for a new reality to enter. This is such a critical point in the alchemical journey. And if this particular idea of the forgiveness ledger resonates with you, if it feels like a key you've been searching for, consider sharing this audiobook with someone else who might be on a similar path. A single insight shared at the right moment can change a life. Now let's turn to the next step in this process. Chapter 6. The Mirror of Worth. Reflecting your innate financial radiance, we've worked with the fire of transformation and the purifying waters of forgiveness. Now we turn our gaze to what is truly being revealed, your innate, inherent worth. If shame and guilt are the dark shadows that obscure your financial radiance, then the concept of worthiness is the luminous mirror that reflects your true, abundant nature. And this is perhaps the most profound transmutation of all, moving from a conditional sense of worth to an unconditional understanding of your inherent value. So often, we operate from a place of conditional worthiness. Our worth, we believe, is tied to our achievements, our income, our possessions, our ability to please others, or our perceived spiritual purity. If we earn enough, if we accomplish enough, if we are enough, then we are worthy of abundance. This is a deeply flawed equation. It keeps us in a perpetual cycle of striving, never quite arriving, always feeling that something is missing, that we're just on the cusp of deserving. The alchemical truth is this: your worthiness is not earned. It is inherent, it is intrinsic. It is an undeniable aspect of your very being, like the air you breathe or the beat of your heart. It exists independently of your financial status, your job title, or your perceived successes or failures. This realization, this deep embodiment of your innate worthiness, is the alchemical process of turning lead into gold. It's about recognizing that the gold was there all along, simply obscured by the layers of conditioning and limiting beliefs. This is why the practice of looking into the mirror of worth is so potent. It's a meditation, a conscious act of self-recognition, where you directly confront and affirm your inherent value. It's about seeing your reflection, not through the distorted lens of societal expectations or self-judgment, but through the clear, pure light of your own soul. Let's embark on this practice together for a moment. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a few deep conscious breaths. Feel your body grounding itself. Now imagine you are standing before a magnificent mirror. This is not just any mirror. It is the mirror of worth. As you look into it, you see your reflection. But this reflection is not based on your current financial situation or what you think you should be. This reflection is pure essence. It radiates with the quiet confidence of your soul. As you gaze into this mirror, acknowledge your inherent value. You are worthy of abundance. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of a life that feels expansive and fulfilling, not because you've achieved a certain status, but because you exist. You are inherently valuable simply by virtue of being you. Repeat these affirmations, not just with your voice, but with your entire being. I am worthy of abundance. My worth is inherent and unconditional. I am a divine being, deserving of all the good the universe has to offer. I release the need to earn my worth. I simply am worthy. As you say these words, visualize the reflection in the mirror glowing brighter. See the lead of doubt and unworthiness dissolving, replaced by a radiant golden light that emanates from your very core. This is the alchemical transmutation happening in real time. You are not trying to become worthy. You are recognizing that you already are. I worked with a woman, let's call her Sarah, who constantly affirmed she wanted wealth. But her subconscious energy screamed, I am not worthy. She unconsciously sabotaged every opportunity that came her way, creating small, self-defeating dramas that kept her stuck in a cycle of perceived financial inadequacy. It wasn't that she didn't want wealth. It was that she didn't believe, on a soul level, that she deserved it. When we began practicing the Mirror of Worth meditation, she found it incredibly challenging at first. The old voices of doubt and shame were loud. But with consistent practice, day after day, she started to feel a shift. She began to see a glimmer of that radiant gold in her own reflection. She started to internalize the truth. Her worth was not dependent on her bank balance. This shift in perception is monumental. When you truly internalize your inherent worthiness, you naturally begin to attract experiences, people, and opportunities that reflect this new, powerful vibration. You stop seeking external validation for your value and start operating from a place of inner knowing. The Mirror of Worth is not just a meditation. It's a practice of radical self-acceptance. It's about looking at yourself with all your perceived imperfections and seeing the divine spark within. It's about recognizing that the gold isn't something you acquire. It's something you uncover within yourself. It's already there. The alchemical work is simply the process of clearing away the dust and the tarnish so that its inherent radiance can be seen. This is the heart of cultivating a sacred money mindset. It's about understanding that your financial well-being is not a reward for good behavior, but a natural consequence of recognizing and embodying your own infinite value. Chapter 7. Cultivating Abundance. Frequency, daily practices for energetic alignment. We've uncovered the lead, prepared our vessel, wielded the fire of transmutation, flowed through the purifying waters of forgiveness, and begun to reflect our innate worthiness. Now the crucial step is to embody this transformed energy consistently. Alchemy is not a one-time event. It is a practice. It is the art of maintaining a high vibrational frequency, aligning our daily lives with the abundance we have uncovered within ourselves. Think of it this way. If your past beliefs were broadcasting a signal of scarcity, and our alchemical work has begun to shift that signal to abundance, then cultivating this abundance frequency means consistently and intentionally sending out that new, high vibrational signal. It's about making the shift not just a fleeting moment, but a sustained state of being. This is how you become a true magnet for prosperity, not through force, but through energetic alignment. This isn't about doing more. It's about being more present, more aligned, and more intentionally radiating the frequency of abundance. It's about weaving these alchemical principles into the fabric of your everyday life. So how do we cultivate this frequency? It's through a series of conscious, intentional daily practices. These are the alchemist's rituals for maintaining the purity of their gold. Mindful gratitude. This is more than just saying thank you. It's about deeply feeling the abundance that is already present in your life. Each morning, before you even get out of bed, or perhaps during your morning stillness practice, take a moment to acknowledge 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. Don't just list them. Feel the gratitude. Feel the warmth, the appreciation, the richness they bring. Gratitude is a powerful abundance amplifier. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, and the universe responds to what you focus on. Energetic tuning up. Just like a musician tunes their instrument before a performance, we need to tune our energetic state. This could involve a short meditation, listening to uplifting music, spending time in nature, or engaging in a movement practice like yoga or mindful walking. The goal is to raise your vibration and align it with the feeling of abundance before you engage with the world, especially before any financial interactions or decisions. Conscious consumption. This applies to everything you consume: information, food, entertainment, and of course money. Are you mindfully choosing resources that nourish and uplift you, or do they drain your energy and reinforce scarcity? When you spend money, do it with intention and appreciation. See it as an exchange of energy that brings you value and allows you to contribute to the flow of abundance. This is moving from "I can't afford this" to "How can I joyfully engage in this exchange?" Setting aligned intentions. Before starting your day or before specific tasks, set clear, aligned intentions. Instead of just thinking, "I need to make money today," try something like, "My intention today is to flow with ease and grace, to attract opportunities that align with my purpose, and to experience abundance in all its forms." Intentions are powerful energetic directives, celebrating small wins. We often wait for huge financial breakthroughs to celebrate, but true abundance consciousness thrives on recognizing and celebrating the small victories along the way. Did you resist an impulse purchase? Celebrate it! Did you have a successful, aligned conversation with a client? Acknowledge it. Celebrate every step forward, no matter how small. This reinforces your new energetic blueprint and encourages more of the same. I remember a client who, after a significant breakthrough, struggled to maintain her new abundance mindset. She'd have moments of clarity, but then quickly revert to old patterns of worry. We worked on integrating small celebrations into her week. She started by acknowledging when she successfully navigated a tricky financial conversation without shame. She'd treat herself to a special cup of tea or dedicate 5 minutes to listening to her favorite, inspiring music. These small acts of self-appreciation created powerful energetic reinforcement. They were like little beacons broadcasting, "I am worthy and I am succeeding." This simple practice helped her bridge the gap between the alchemical insight and sustained energetic alignment. Visualizing your aligned future. Regularly spend time visualizing yourself living in abundance, not just materially, but energetically. See yourself making decisions with confidence, experiencing financial freedom, and using your resources to create a positive impact. This isn't just daydreaming. It's an energetic rehearsal for your reality. You are actively impressing these images and feelings onto your subconscious. Cultivating this abundance frequency is about moving from a reactive state to a proactive, aligned state of being. It's about consistently choosing to embody the energy of wealth, worthiness, and gratitude, regardless of your current external circumstances. It's in these daily, consistent practices that the true alchemical transformation takes hold, allowing you to become a pure, radiant vessel for the abundant flow of life. Chapter 8. Inspired Action versus Anxious Hustle. The Art of Effortless Creation. We've laid the groundwork for energetic transformation. We've prepared our vessel, wielded the fire of reprogramming, purified with forgiveness, recognized our inherent worth, and established practices to cultivate an abundance frequency. Now, we arrive at a pivotal distinction, a crucial discernment that separates true alchemical creation from mere energetic scrambling. The difference between inspired action and anxious hustle. This is a cornerstone of manifesting with ease and grace. The anxious hustle is driven by fear, by the relentless belief that you must force, push, and struggle to achieve your desires. It's that frantic energy of, "If I don't do it now, I'll never get it," or "I have to work myself to the bone to be worthy of success." Matrushti, it's the energy of scarcity, of lack, of not enough. It's trying to manifest from a place of resistance, and it's exhausting, unsustainable, and often counterproductive. Inspired action, on the other hand, arises from a place of alignment. It's that gentle nudge, that intuitive insight, the clear knowing that directs you towards a specific step. It feels aligned, often energizing, and when you take it, it typically moves you closer to your goal with far less resistance, and often with unexpected synchronicities. It's action that flows from a place of certainty, from the cultivated abundance frequency we've been building. It's the universe guiding your hand, not your fear. The anxious hustler is always busy, always rushing, always worried. They are reacting to external pressures and internal anxieties. They might be working long hours, but their energy is drained, and their results often feel forced or temporary. They are trying to make things happen, battling against perceived resistance. The person acting from inspiration is often calm, focused, and has a clear sense of direction, even if the path isn't fully visible. They trust the process. They take the inspired step, and then they pause, listen, and wait for the next inspired step. They are co-creating with the universe, not fighting against it. They understand that aligned action, even small action taken from a place of inner knowing, is far more powerful than brute force effort. I remember a client, let's call him David. David was a true believer in the hustle. He'd wake at 4 a.m., work 14-hour days, and felt constantly stressed. He was trying to manifest a successful business, but his energy was one of frantic desperation. He was always looking for the next tactic, the next hack. His subconscious was still broadcasting scarcity, even as his conscious mind was screaming abundance. One day, he felt a strong intuitive pull to take a complete day off, to simply go for a long walk in nature. His inner hustler screamed at him, "You don't have time for this, you'll fall behind." But he listened to the quieter, inspired voice. During that walk, a completely new business model, one that was far more aligned with his passions and values, and paradoxically far more profitable, simply unfolded in his mind. It wasn't forced, it was revealed. He then took inspired action on that idea, and his business transformed. The key to distinguishing between the two is to check in with your energy. How does the action feel? Anxious hustle feels frantic, pressured, draining, heavy, driven by fear or obligation. Inspired action feels aligned, energizing, purposeful, light, guided by intuition or a sense of knowing. So, how do you cultivate this ability to discern and act on inspiration? Deepen your stillness practices. The more present and still you are, as discussed in Chapter 3, the clearer the whispers of inspiration become. You can't hear a gentle intuition over the roar of anxiety. Trust your intuition. Your intuition is your inner guidance system. Start small. Notice those gut feelings. Did you feel a nudge to call a certain person? Did a creative idea pop into your head? Take those small, inspired steps. As you trust your intuition on a small scale, you build confidence for larger, inspired actions. Observe your energy levels. Before and after taking action, check in with your energy. If an action drains you completely, it's likely a hustle. If it leaves you feeling energized, even if it was challenging, it's likely inspired. Define your why. When you are deeply connected to your purpose, your why, inspired actions become clearer. They naturally align with your core values and your vision. This is what moves you beyond the simple desire for money to a desire for impact and fulfillment. Remember, the universe is not asking you to perform Herculean feats to earn your abundance. It is inviting you to dance with it, to move with its rhythm, to take the steps that feel aligned, that feel right, that feel like they are being whispered to you from a place of deep knowing. This is the art of effortless creation. This is the true alchemical power of taking inspired action, transforming your efforts from a battle against scarcity to a harmonious dance with abundance. Chapter 9, Embodying Quantum Wealth. Your aligned life of purpose and prosperity. We have traversed the alchemical path. We have unearthed the lead of limitation, purified our vessel, ignited the fire of transformation, cleansed with the waters of forgiveness, recognized our infinite worthiness, cultivated an abundance frequency, and learned to discern the whispers of inspired action from the clamor of anxious hustle. Now we arrive at the culmination of this great work, embodying quantum wealth. This is not merely about attracting money. It is about living a life where your finances are not a source of stress or conflict, but a harmonious extension of your highest purpose and spiritual alignment. It is about stepping into a state of quantum wealth, a state of infinite possibility, where your energetic vibration attracts not just financial abundance, but also opportunities for growth, contribution, and deep fulfillment. Embodying quantum wealth means living in a reality where your material resources are aligned with your soul's purpose. It's about understanding that wealth, in its most expansive sense, is not an end in itself, but a powerful tool. A tool for learning, for growing, for experiencing, and most importantly, for contributing to the world in ways that are deeply meaningful to you. This is the alchemist's ultimate realization, that the gold we sought was not an external object to be possessed, but a state of being to be embodied. It is the understanding that our energetic alignment with abundance naturally creates pathways for wealth to flow into our lives in service of our highest good and the good of others. So what does this embodied quantum wealth look like in practice? Purposeful financial stewardship. You no longer see money as a burden or a source of anxiety, but as a sacred resource to be managed with wisdom and intention. You make financial decisions not out of fear, but out of alignment with your values and your vision for your life and your impact. This means tithing with joy, investing in alignment with your beliefs, and spending with conscious appreciation. Abundance as a generative force. You understand that true wealth is generative. It multiplies and flows when used intentionally. This is where you move beyond just accumulating wealth to using your resources to create positive change, whether that's supporting causes you believe in, investing in sustainable ventures, or simply sharing your abundance with loved ones. Your financial abundance becomes a force for good in the world. Freedom from material attachment. While you appreciate and enjoy the benefits of abundance, you are not attached to material possessions as the sole source of your happiness or worth. You recognize that your true wealth lies in your inner state, your relationships, your purpose, and your connection to the divine. This freedom allows you to be more resilient, more adaptable, and more at peace, attracting synchronicity and opportunity. As you consistently embody quantum wealth, you become a magnet for aligned opportunities. Doors open seemingly effortlessly. People and situations appear exactly when you need them. This is not magic. It is the natural law of resonance. Your high vibration attracts experiences that match it, deepened spiritual connection, far from contradicting your spiritual path. Embodying quantum wealth actually deepens it. When financial worries are removed, your capacity to connect with your spiritual self, to experience inner peace, and to serve from a place of holiness expands dramatically. You realize that abundance is a spiritual principle, a reflection of the universe's boundless generosity. I remember a client, a retired teacher named Eleanor, who after decades of service finally felt she had enough financially to truly live her purpose. She hadn't just saved money. She had transmuted her lifelong scarcity mindset into one of empowered abundance. She began by investing in a small local sanctuary for rescued animals, a cause close to her heart. She then used her resources to mentor young teachers, sharing her wisdom and her joy. Her life was a testament to quantum wealth. Her finances were not just supporting her, but were actively fueling her purpose and bringing profound joy and impact to the world. She wasn't just wealthy, she was embodying wealth as a force for good. Embodying quantum wealth is the ultimate alchemical achievement. It's the realization that the transformation of lead into gold was not about acquiring something external, but about unveiling the radiant gold that was within you all along. It's about living a life where your financial well-being is in perfect harmony with your spiritual truth, your highest purpose, and your deepest sense of joy. This is not just financial freedom. This is soul freedom. This is the Alchemist's legacy, outro. And so we arrive not at an end, but at a new beginning. The 9 transmutations are complete. The lead has been acknowledged, heated, purified, and transformed into the gold of your true nature. This is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a new way of being. You are now the alchemist of your own reality. Your journey of transformation continues from here. To support you on this path, I have curated the next steps for you. To your left, you will find our foundational playlist, The Foundations of Abundance. Continue to immerse yourself in these core principles to solidify this new consciousness. And on your right, you will find a video the universe has selected specifically for your journey next. Trust the guidance. It is precisely what you need to hear. This work is the most important work you will ever do. Because when you heal your relationship with money, you heal your relationship with life itself. You reclaim your power to create, to contribute, and to experience the fullness of what it means to be alive. This is Elias Vance reminding you, abundance is not something you acquire. It is something you become.